Opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Television, the show that I've been doing every week, damn near, for the last 10 years or so, despite what anybody says. We never did check all the... Hope that's all framed up good.
It better be.
This is a post-mortem episode of the Scarefest, where we will talk about the things that we know went well, the things that we think might have went sideways, and how we will fix them. And we will listen to your suggestions. But be warned, I have actually wrote down some of your suggestions. And I'm going to share them with the public now. Let's go ahead and bring in the council. Hello, Brandon and Adrian. How are we doing tonight?
Oh my God, Wes, you've got too much energy and I feel like I just passed a kidney stone.
That is why I'm a professional. I pull this up from the depths of my being. Every week, no matter how tired I am. Actually, one of my eyes is red. It's not even the one I have a contact in. So it's all around. Okay, do we even have an idea of our numbers yet? That's the first thing everybody wants to know.
About 25K is what came through the door for the weekend.
There, everybody. 25K, which was in line with what we predicted. Based on
we were pretty on par with that. And, you know, it's... So going in, so I was a statistician at one point in time, and so I speak. So it's roughly we had 100% increase from 2001 to 21 to 22. From 21 to 23, we've had about 150% increase.
Now the only thing, okay, I gotta ask, why didn't Sunday blow? Sunday this year did not blow Sunday last year out of the water like Friday this year blew Friday out of the water. Any theories?
Well, actually,
it didn't seem that way.
It didn't seem that way, but really, we sold more single day passes for Sunday than we did for Friday.
I'm talking warm fucking bodies.
Right. Well, that's because everybody partied so damn hard on Saturday, and I think a lot of what that was is we had so many people that traveled in that came for Friday and Saturday and had to get back home so they could get to work on Monday. That's a lot of what I heard.
Well, even a lot of people that I talked to, like they came in on Sunday, but they came in on Sunday morning and then they left. But now overall, I mean, we had people in there from Friday when we opened till Sunday when we closed. And Sunday we had to push people out the door.
Yep.
That's
true.
We always do. I always say we buck the trend on Sundays.
Oh, Sunday was actually Sunday was really good. I mean, we had a very good line on Friday. We had a very, 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 very good line on Saturday, and we still had a very, very good line on Sunday.
Now,
and it was very busy.
Those that we're counting, that's 1 very for Friday, 4 for Saturday, 2 for Sunday. If you were counting Brandon's statistician varies.
That's right.
Now, I do want to.
I'm an athlete.
I want to give props to the admissions team. Adrian put that little post in there today about how long you had to stand in the line. There were no horror stories.
No. Y'all want to hear a funny story? You want to hear why Adrian made that post in the group today?
Yes, I would love to know.
So, for everybody, some people know this, some don't. I got the con crud this week, and I have been sick since Monday night. So today, I finally got around to answering the info emails, and there were a lot of them. And most of them were, questions, things like that, and nothing bad. There were a couple amazing, nice, wonderful emails in there of people showing their appreciation. And honestly, I don't remember getting any of those last year. We get a lot of good praise on social media, but as far as people going old school and sending an email, so that was awesome. But there were a couple turds in the punch bowl. So the reason I made that post today is because someone emailed me, and in a nutshell, they said that they wanted a refund for their Saturday tickets because after they drove around and found a parking spot and they saw the line to get in, they didn't want to wait more than 2 hours to just get into the building. So they turned around and drove home and didn't even try to come inside, and they wanted me to give them a refund. So I made that post because I wanted to know, like, where did this number come from? 2 hours. No one told me that all weekend. And I made the post, and the longest wait time I saw for anybody, I asked what time you got there and how long it took to get in. And of course, around 11 o'clock, we got a few people that had some longer wait times because that's when the doors opened. Mm-hmm. But the longest anyone said was an hour. So I took a screenshot of the post and I emailed it back to him, and I was like, hey, these are real people. I've asked this question. This is the feedback I'm getting. I'm sorry the line appeared daunting, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
and
it looked a lot worse than what it was. And like, that's what I keep telling folks. That line moves good.
Fast.
Once, like I go out and count. I count it. I go out and I check with people on the line all morning long. And if I feel like it's too slow, then we add some more people. If I feel like it's, too fast.
Well, and that is a thing, so for everybody that's curious, on the floor, especially with celebrity line building, a lot actually really goes into the way that Brandon structures the lines, because if people come in too quickly and the celebrity lines fill up faster than we can route and contain them, it creates huge traffic jams in the back of the floor. So we also have to communicate and keep an eye on how quickly the lines are filling up, and if we have room to, route people, and it gives our staff on the floor a chance to address any issues back there, and they can slow the line down. But needless to say, he could not be made happy. He was exceptionally rude to me in his response email, and I will not be refunding his tickets, in short.
We have to worry about like fire code and things like that. So
yeah, there's a lot of safety go into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as simple as just opening the doors.
Well, even if it was, physics required that there are only so many doors.
And that was another thing that, he said in his second email, that we didn't have enough entrances. And I was like, well, the entrances work just fine. I mean, we've got 12 doors. We use 8 of them for entrance doors. And then once you get inside, I mean, I'm pretty sure I could get a Winnebago through the front entrance. So the entrances aren't an issue at all.
One thing I'll say, and like 99.9% of people there are the nicest folks you're ever going to meet. There is that 0.01% though that are like, I had just one person that was convinced to argue, and this asshat came up to me and said that he had been in line for 3 hours, and I was like, so
ask
you were
the people behind him, how long have you been in line?
Yeah, so I was like, so you've been here since 6 a.m. And like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, somebody was just wanting to argue, and like, I get that. And like, I've had to stand outside in lines, and like the Comic-Con line goes about as far as ours did this year. Mm-hmm. Even the one at Horror Hound, like if you've ever had to stand outside in that line, I mean, in the blistering cold, that line goes a little bit too. Gail and everybody that handled the front of house this year did an excellent job. And Jay and everybody that handled the outside, I mean, did a phenomenal job of routing people. And I can't really fault it.
No, I think, from all of the feedback I've gotten, and I even, I know some people that route in the lines, but the reason I asked in the group is because I want full transparency. We need to know how people feel about things. And we go to shows, we go to other conventions, and we stand in lines to get in. And I tell you, ours is really good, but continuous improvement, Kaizen. Some of you all that worked at Toyota or are familiar with Japanese, continuous improvement is always something that we want to do. So we want that feedback for sure.
My practice has been is that when I walk the front, I look for the person that looks the most pissed off. And then I stop them and I ask them how long they've been in line. And this year, even the guy that looked the most angry, apparently he wasn't angry at us. He was just angry.
That's okay.
That was me. Sorry, my bad.
I was like, I'm the owner. I was like, how's everything going? If they want to unload, they can unload. But I didn't get a whole lot of anything from the line. And even if I come across somebody that, if they have an accessibility issue or if they just have a really kick-ass prop,
yeah, sometimes
I'll walk them up. Somebody brought in like one of the Fluffies crates that Adrian Barbeau had inside.
I saw that. I saw them in line. Where were they? I think they were in line at Greg Nicotero's booth. And
I grabbed that dude out of the line because it was so awesome. And I walked him through the VIP line so he could get in earlier, so he didn't have to go through the stanchions.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was awesome. That was
coming with me. So everybody make notes. If you bring a really super cool prop and you catch Brandon's attention, you might be able to cut the line. Now, Brandon, let's see, what how are we doing on time? I don't know if we've got time or if Wes wants to do a commercial, but Brandon brought up an interesting word a few minutes ago, accessibility. And we've had some feedback about accessibility at the convention center that I think Wes is just dying to tell us about.
Yeah, I'll save that for after the commercial. I do want to. This was a legitimate question from the chat room. We had somewheres in the neighborhood of 85 celebrity guests this year. What's your target for next year?
3.
So here's my thoughts on it, because I've had a lot of people ask me this in the last little bit. I think the show can accommodate that many, and I know.
Keep talking. I'm waiting for the punchline.
I mean, here's my thoughts on it. I think that we can build I think we can do that. I think we can do 80 every year. I think that we need to take into consideration, though, the floor and the amount of vendors.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a fine line between how many celebrities you can have and how many vendors you can have.
Yeah, without being overbooked. I agree. Right. And, we should take out some of the vendor booths and put in chairs. That would make a lot
Wait a minute. No, I got that covered in my notes. Everybody,
okay.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to talk about what we're doing to make your visit more pleasurable next year.
Horror. Movie. Fans. 4. Life. On Facebook. Find us. 4 watch parties. 4 news. 4 memes. 4 friends. 4 life. Horror movie fans for life. Join us.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest Television. Oh, I did want to mention one more thing. The 2023 photo op schedule is online right now. There is no word on the 2024 photo op schedule.
We should have that next week.
We should have that just any time.
Guys, and that's another thing. That's not normal. Like, I want everyone to understand that. That is not a normal occurrence. That thing's usually posted about at least a minimum of about 3 to 4 weeks out. But
That's not true. Don't lie to them.
it's usually 3 weeks out.
If we're done announcing, it is.
Well, yeah, but
We
still,
weren't done announcing till like the week, like 2 days before.
I think
That's
everybody.
true.
I think everybody was okay with the notion that we weren't done announcing. I was actually. Look, I'm just going to tell you right now. I enjoy the process of booking that many guests and putting so many like different reunions together, and then being able to announce all the way up until the show. Like
You enjoy that?
I do, and I think that people that come do. I enjoy, like, when I bought a ticket already because I want to see something. I
And then
enjoy
you
the
get a
show.
phone. It's
I
like
enjoy
when
the
you order
show.
4 mozzarella
I enjoy a throw
sticks
show.
with the
I enjoy a
fries.
show throwing out last minute. Hey, look who else we've got coming. It's an extra little bonus. I'm already going.
All right.
I'm excited.
Well, let's I can't wait to hear Wes's pleasurable suggestions.
Okay, first of all, now, I wish I had violin music right now because I want to say for the people that complained that there were no chairs on the convention floor, there is no one that feels your pain more so than me. Although we're doing better than we used to. We have chairs in the building now. When I first became an employee of the Scarefest, there was not a chair within the downtown Lexington area, as near as I can
That's
tell.
true. It's even in our FAQ.
Yes.
I haven't quoted on that.
So, I do think though now this year our plan, we thought this will be great. We have 2 quiet seating areas downstairs from the con. You may take an escalator or an elevator, which I'll bring up again here in just a moment. But you can take an elevator downstairs. The hallway going to the film festival was quiet, padded chairs all up and down the hallway. Or you could turn right and a beautiful sunny view off the side of Rupp Arena of downtown. Plenty of places to sit.
Here's some
This-
sad violin music.
What?
Sad violin music.
Oh, there you go. This, however, was not good enough. People say that we need seating areas on the con floor. So, because we don't want to lose vendors and we don't want to give up celebrity space, here's my solution. An army of volunteers carrying aluminum lawn chairs with them. Lightweight, maybe a little bulky, but every time somebody says, oh my God, I got to sit down, flip it out.
I don't know. I'm old. I sit down wherever I need to sit down at, which means that if there's a corner, I'll sit down on it. But I mean, I don't know where you put. So we used to have tables and chairs in the little section where we had the stage. We took that off, and that's
For
kind of
photo ops.
yeah. And that seems like a counterpoint with some people that they like the stage on the floor.
Like 10 people like the stage on the floor.
Yeah, I know, and it's not really feasible to do it. And the seating area takes up too much space. And the back hallway is used mostly for line building now because, like last year or this year, bringing in that amount of celebrities, we've got to have a way of doing it off the floor. Otherwise,
That was one thing I do want to clarify. Somebody actually did ask about that. Yes, in the past, we did have some tables and chairs in that back hallway. I don't think we did last year, but 2 years ago we did. We could not do that because we needed that back hallway for line building twice, photo ops, and guess what? Little thing we kind of messed up the math on. We're great at getting you in the door, but there's still an hour between VIP entry and general public. General public people come in the building starting at 10 o'clock, just not to the floor. They got to go somewhere. So we line them up right down that hallway. And I'm just going to, everybody Google this, fire marshal. Fire marshal.
Well, the interior, okay, so one thing that's probably going to change going into next year is the early will call and things, like the line side for general admission. It's a point of contention. It's hard to do. We had 3 lines inside plus the line out.
What about doing it on Thursday, but not before the con on Friday and Saturday and Sunday?
That's exactly what some people posted, and I think that's a good idea. And so I think what we'll end up doing is opening up like where you can come in and get your tickets on Thursday, but those check-in lines will be outside starting next year because we can't build that kind of line inside.
No, it was bad.
No, yeah, it was crazy. And like, even like if you build it down the stairs or like off to the side, like building the line inside is going to be solely for VIP and Weekend Plus people. And then the general admission line is going to have to be outside. There's
Well, and another thing, you know, I would like to bring up another good point. We did our Weekend Plus passes for the first time this year, and we did a pretty limited amount. We only did 200 of those. And so we had under 500 people in that first hour. But I think that it made a huge difference for the people that had early entry to go ahead and knock out some of the big name celebs before general admission opened. And there was almost like a few minutes lull where the bigger headliner guests were cutting their line down, getting through almost everybody from early entry on Friday and Saturday before general admission came in. I mean, it worked, I thought, like a dream. And also that kept, you know, we're going to have a big discussion about line skips for next year. Because there was just they don't get used that much. You have early entry, you know. I don't think we need the line skip passes, honestly. And I may be sending out an email to the folks that got VIP this year and ask for some feedback and see you know, how many line skips you actually used, because in the first hour everybody back there pretty much has line skips, so you don't use them.
Yeah, it's been one of those things. Like, I've seen a lot of cons that have kind of got away from the line skip premise. Like, they have lines for VIPs on certain things, but they don't do the skips. But
well,
I
that's
think we've
another
done such a
thing.
good job of managing lines that
A lot of people were asking why we don't have a VIP lane, and Wes answered it the best, you know, the best answer there is. There's barely enough room on the floor to route 85 celebrity lines. There's definitely not enough room to route 170 lines. You can't put 2 lanes for every person. And even our bigger folks that we had to do hall line building for, we used every entrance and exit in the back for line building, just for regular line building. There is nowhere to put VIP lanes. There's just not space. If we go with the amount of celebrities that we have and we continue this as the normal now, that won't change. We will not be putting in VIP lanes. I mean, even the most extensive wait times this year, I think David Arquette got up to about 2 hours. And somebody can correct me on that if he waited longer than 2 hours. But I think that was about the max for anyone.
yeah,
So,
and we didn't have to do like one of the benefits of having that amount of space back there is that we don't have to really do a whole lot of line capping where we tell guys to leave and come back, because that's aggravating for people.
We did have some this year. We did, but it wasn't nearly like you see at other shows. It might be capped for 20 or 30 minutes, and then when it starts to whittle down, then the biggest issue that I saw for traffic flow was people coming up to line up early for their photo ops. And the gentlemen that were running photo ops had to keep yelling at people to disperse. And when you have to say that 50 times in a day, you can't be as polite about it as you might want to be. So I heard some people grumbling that, you know, he was being rude. But, you know, he's got a lot of information that they have to get out really quickly. And there's just not a lot of time for, you know, manners when you're trying to get that information out there. So those are all things we're looking at. You know, we may look at moving photo ops to the second floor. Brandon wanted to look at doing it this year, and I kind of said no. Like, I think we should try it how we had it, and I'm on board.
We do a lot of photo ops, and like we do a lot compared to other shows.
We do a ton of photo ops. I mean, so
hats off to everybody out there, because like, I mean, we try to come up with some good ideas as far as like in costume ops and you know, working
different
with
lineups,
not getting screwed over on cuts and things, and navigating through that. And so I think that shows in, because I love professional photo ops, and we did our background this year and we changed a lot of things, but I think as far as the layout, I mean, we'll probably be expanding on photo ops because we've just sold so many and everybody enjoys them. And if anything, if it turns out next year like I'm planning, I think that it'll be bigger on the photo op section. And so we're going to have to build that a little bit. And we've looked at like, I've thought about doing it several different ways, like having the celebs go along, just all along the wall around, or just expanding like that section where the celebs and the photo ops are and having that all be celebrities and then just vendors and having a clear line in the sand. We've thought about doing that a couple of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that one thing this year proved was that this is a show that can sustain 80 guests.
Yeah.
And it can make sure that is profitable for both, the guests, the vendors, and is entertaining for for our attendees.
For the yeah.
Yeah, I think we managed to prove that this year. And Kentucky is a place that's not, you think about a lot of conventions out there that are horror related, and Kentucky didn't really show up on the radar, I think, until recently.
Yep.
And so I think we can build on what we did this year. And just the idea of having 80 guests and being able to, like, all those groupings and reunions that we can do.
He said groupings, not groupies.
Groupings, INGS. All the groupings and reunions that we can do. I think it just opens the door to a lot of possibilities, because I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of horror conventions out there booking 80 guests. I just don't.
Okay, no.
Now this might be something that because I guess there is a freight elevator, but we do a lot of prop stuff with our photo ops, and moving that to the second floor, is that going to create a big issue? Well,
no, the hallway down there opens up into the parking structure, and so Mike and all of his props and stuff that he brings in, and even the props that we set up, we can get them down there. I mean, they're not going to be able to go back and forth between the first and second floors. That's just not going to happen.
Right.
But once they get stationary down there, see, I don't even know if the second floor is going to be large enough to support that.
Well, there's 5 more meeting rooms and a huge lobby type area down the other hallway. So we have 1 through 8. When you go down the escalator on the left, there's 1 through 8. But if you go down the right, down that big long hallway, not very far up on the left, there is another section that has 5 more large meeting rooms in it.
Yeah.
And that, is something that we could look at. But, and the thing is like, we have to look at sustainability as
paying
well.
The rent
and a
is
lot
what
of
she's saying.
What's that?
Paying the rent, in other words.
Yeah, exactly. The buildings, the rooms down there, they're pretty expensive. So a lot of the things that happened on the second floor this year were free. The film festival was free. The speakers were free. The panels were free, with the exception of the one ticketed event we had in there. A lot of those events down there are free events. So we have to be careful that, we don't get too big for our britches with taking over more of the building. Everything in there that you see, every place that you step costs us money, and it's very, very expensive.
Well, and one thing to take in consideration too, and this is always a question that I get hit with, and I actually talked to Brett Wagner and James Jude about this very thing. I am not a fan of splitting the floor. I don't like to split the vendors from the celebrities.
Nope.
I don't think it's a good practice. I don't like doing it. That's something I'll not do at this show. So I want to make sure everyone understands that the celebrities and vendors will always remain in the same room, no matter what. We have 150,000 square foot at our discretion, and I don't see the point in changing that. Now, the one thing that probably would change to where, so the photo ops may move around. I don't like the party there, and that's something that I'm going to look at. I'm not a big fan of it. I wasn't a fan of it this year.
I didn't love it either.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I liked in theory, I liked it, but
it seemed like a good idea, and it's that's as good as a party as you'll get at Days of the Dead and some of the other places, and so that's fine. But we're not going to be okay with just that level of comfort. we want something big and bold. And so that's something we're going to have to extrapolate on, this next year, is finding a place to do it. Lex Live is nice. However, there's certain things that I'm not a fan of having it there.
No.
So we're going to have to look at that moving forward and what that's going to look like.
And we're just really good at options down there.
Rooms down there.
Yeah.
Let's hop to our commercial break and then our little brief announcement section, because Brandon found 5 more celebrities in his wallet. No, I'm kidding. But we do have some stuff to talk about. We'll be right back.
Are you a fan of horror movies, books, comics, music, and collectibles? Rue Morgue magazine is for you. Subscribe today to receive 6 or 12 print issues annually and join me, executive editor Andrea Subisati, on an ongoing journey through the horror genre of the past, present, and future. Plus, get access to unmissable special editions such as A Century of Witches, 50 Years of Gore Cinema, British horror movies, and so much more. Rue Morgue, the world's premier horror and culture and entertainment magazine since 1997. Accept no substitute.
I'm actually a fan of that.
All right. Central Kentucky Mystical Market, Lexington's premier monthly psychic and holistic event coming up November 4th and 5th. I will probably be there doing my really bad tarot. I'm planning on going. I have to make sure I still have a booth because some people thought I died, but I didn't. Central Kentucky Mystical Market, Clarion Hotel, 1950 Newtown Pike. Go in the front door. Ask them. You'll see signs. There'll be signs. But anyway, that's coming up November 4th and 5th. Check it out. I'm up to... That number's wrong. 30. I didn't put the new graphic up. 36 patrons. 36 people have subscribed to my Patreon. I Sleepaway Camp. I'm not cutting that shirt until I get 50. But I will bring that cosplay back if I get 50 people, and I will do it the first con that I go to after I get 50 patrons. I will appear in my cutoff Camp Arawak shirt. But
I want to make sure it's Lexington Comic-Con.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway, and I do want to thank Jake Godbold. He is my sponsor for my November 5K. That's right. Ran a 5K last month. I'm doing one next month, November. He sponsored it. Southern Lights Stroll. If you like the Southern Lights, that big light thing they do out every Christmas at the Kentucky Horse Park, guess what? They do a 5K. They also do a walk. So, just saying, Brandon, you said you could do it. Come on out and walk with me. And you'll probably still pass me before I get to the end. Push a baby stroller, guaranteed to pass me. Anyway. Now, let's see.
Eric and Morrison, he's my AA sponsor. And, sorry, I'm just kidding.
I do want, before we go on, I want to give a big get well shout out to Carl Courtney, friend of the show. Carl decided to have a heart attack just yesterday. He's okay. They put a stand in. They put it my hospital, by the way. My team. Go team. But he's okay.
Stop being a trendsetter.
He's doing great, but stop it, people. If he'd have come to Scarefest, if he'd have just come and got his blood pressure checked, probably could have all been avoided. By the way, that was a hit. We had how many people did you say we had that they were officially in what they call crisis?
Although there was 2 or 3 people that I overheard that were being instructed they needed to follow up.
But I still have the high score.
Wait, high score on blood pressure? That's not
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not now.
Not now. Now I'm I'm down there with you normalies. Anyway.
Anybody check me out with the Terrifier, folks? Yeah, my blood pressure would have been like 300/2.
Okay. Now, I do want to say, before we go on with any of the other important stuff, I have to ask. In the chat room, tell me. How in the hell did all of you people lose your goddamn tickets? I have a hard drive. I got emails and messages saying, I lost my tickets. Now, I understand. Okay. No, they said I have my taxes from 1995 on a hard drive that I yanked out of the computer in the other room. Email is admissible in court. Nothing has been deleted since like Windows 3.1. It's all out there. But I cannot believe the number of people that said not that they couldn't find them, because then I say, oh, look in your spam folder. Oh, there they are. No, there are people that it said they deleted them, and I do not understand how that happens. Because even if you delete them, there's another folder that they go to.
I haven't set up to empty, but it's happened to me. I've bought tickets before, and I've deleted them out.
Adam's fussing at me for trying to keep up with the chat. Like, what do you want, Adam? You want to like trash talk in there? You don't want me to see it? You want Wes to be the only one with the power here? I don't understand.
Ooh, now Carl was close when he got to the hospital. His blood pressure was 193 over 102. 193 over 102.
Whose blood pressure was that?
Carl Courtney.
Oh, geez.
He's a friend of mine from up here in the county, and
Wes was higher than that.
I was higher than that, but not by any survivable amount. So,
I thought you said Carl Vanson for a minute. Like I was like, I saw Carl like 20 times.
So anyway,
he was chill like the entire weekend.
Now, the most important takeaway, actually two of them, but that I got from watching the suggestions on how to improve Scarefest 2024, we need to add another elevator.
Get your shovel, Brandon. Get your shovel, Brandon.
All right, guys.
Oh, Joe Parrish wanted me to let you know he can build you an elevator, Brandon.
Yeah. Okay. There's a limit on what I can do. Building an elevator, an additional elevator, is not within my power of that. However,
all powerful, you can do it.
No, there's really not much.
If Jared asks for one, they might put one in. Jared, help us out here.
Okay, short of building an elevator, would you consider rolling back the remodeling to 2009? Also a suggestion.
Oh, Jesus Christ, no. Not a million years.
I do want to say, while we're on the subject of elevators, though, I got a wonderful tidbit of news that the Hilton, anyone that was at the Hilton over the weekend knows that out of the 87 elevators they have there, only one was functioning. They are getting all of their elevators completely rebuilt before our next show. So all of the elevators should be brand spanking new and functioning. Now, I don't know who tests an elevator, like who rides on it the first time. That would not be a job I would want to have.
I'd do it.
But we should have brand new.
I have flirted with death and come out victorious. Give me an elevator. I scoff at your elevator.
We could, on the stairs to help with that, since we can't get another elevator at the convention center, can we put in like a slip and slide? You get down the stairs really quickly.
I do want to say, while we're talking about stairs, as much as I walked this weekend, the only time it really, really got to me, the escalator shut down for an hour or two. Somebody apparently fell on it and they had to clean the blood up or something.
Oh my God, no. It was down for 20 minutes. I was standing there.
It was down for 20 minutes while I had to use it, and I had to walk up. Again. I'm just saying, I had to walk up through there, and it hurt. It hurt.
And nobody was even hurt. Like, you make it sound like the mangler.
I'm sorry. That's what I was told. Secondhand information.
Well, and I would, Elizabeth had an excellent point. She said, we should put up a sign essentially that says, if you don't need to take the elevator, don't take the elevator. Because some folks are using wheelchairs and they can only use the elevator. They don't have the option to utilize the escalator. But Miss Elizabeth, we could print 50,000 signs that say that, and no one reads our signs. No one reads them. That's why Brandon doesn't print signs anymore. And when he does print them, they're facing the wrong way.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. Yeah. So, if anybody doesn't know the story, so we increased our print budget this year, I will say, by 60%.
Very nice. Congratulations.
And part of that, which it helped, and part of that was a big, huge banner across the ceiling telling everybody where to go. So I walked in. We were doing walkthrough. Went through the whole thing, walked outside, started looking at all the ticket banners, and looked at the window cleans and all that. And I'm walking up the hallway, and I'm like, that hand doesn't look right. And so the skeleton hand on the upside, on the hanging banner, was basically telling everybody to go to Rupp Arena for celebrities and photo ops.
It was a wall, just a wall. There
weren't even doors
Yeah,
down where it was
a straight
hanging.
wall, but you can't tell me that people would have like went down there and went to the hallway and then like tunneled.
Well, and someone, and it might have been Adam, but if it wasn't and you're watching, I apologize. I'll give you credit. Just put it in the comments. Someone said that we should have put the 12-foot skeleton against that wall. Was it you?
Yes, holding a sign going, kidding.
Kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was.
Although
One of you.
people at conventions and guys, like I said, I love you, but some people are like lemmings, man. They will follow the first person in line wherever they go.
Well, it's funny. She's talking about how people don't read signs. And, okay, the sign got printed. I understand how that happens. The sign got printed wrong. I understand. Shit happens.
Yeah, Brandon didn't mess that one up.
No, I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying, do people read signs? Well, a team of professionals hung that sign and looked at it and went, yeah, it looks okay.
Yep.
They don't read the signs. Their job is to hang them. They don't look at them. But I will tell you this, on a fly's notice, like we got that thing switched around, and so we had to have them pull it down. I recreated the exact image for that section in a sticker and had them put it up there the morning before it opened, or the morning of opening, actually. And most of them were awesome about getting it up there. So I again, that was a last minute snafu we had to work around, but there weren't very many of them. That was probably the one that I was like, if that stays up there, man, people are going to walk straight through that wall.
When we were doing our walkthrough meeting, I was telling everybody, I said, this is like a Harry Potter situation, platform 9 3/4, and I need somebody to just run as fast as they can into that wall and see if another dimension of Scarefest opens up.
God,
and I paid good money.
I hope the rent's cheaper in that dimension.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now, this was actually a legitimate suggestion, and if they can show me logistically that any convention in America actually does it, we might look into it. Someone suggested, because they don't want to carry all their shit that they buy because they go around vendors and then go around and get autographs, that we add lockers, that we rent out lockers for the weekend.
I saw that. I'd seen that. There was actually another one that I want to talk about real quick too, but like, I guess my first question would be where and how.
Well,
they claim we have a lot of wall space.
Well, we have one area of wall space, but it's not actually walls. They're exit doors, and we can't block those because of fire code standards. But my biggest thing with that, and a lot of people suggested bench seating. And I don't know, I mean, if you look at a 2 or 3 person bench, yeah, you can. If you're talking about the big long benches, those have to be bolted down because we're going to get some seesaw action going. Someone's going to go flying across the hall. And I mean, there's logistically no way to anchor benches to the floor. And as far as lockers, if we bought some, then we may, by the time they start to fall apart, get them paid off if we rent them all out. But I mean, I just can't, because I have the thought too, like, man, if we could find some old school lockers or something and bring them in here, but I'm not moving those. Those things weigh like 5,000 pounds.
Yeah, guys, the locker idea, like, while I appreciate it and I understand it, is not going to be a feasible one.
Backpacks.
Do what?
Backpacks and roller carts. We have super wide aisles. I saw people bringing in wagons. I saw people bringing in those walkers with the little seat on them. Adrian approved all day long. We're not hauling it in lockers. It's just not going to work. Now, if you can find a company that will bring in lockers and they'll rent them out, go for it. We'll talk about it.
Now, I'll tell you one thing that Jay and them brought up that was a really good thing, and I honestly, I'd never thought about it, was the line, how it wraps around to the height and then down through Triangle Park. If you're in a wheelchair or have accessibility issues, you can't do that incline.
No.
So one thing that we're going to have to do is open up an ADA accessible check-in. That's going to have to be on the Vine Street side.
Agreed.
So that was one thing that everybody had a really good idea about. And Jay, hats off to you on that one. because like I did not think about that. That line's gone down through there a couple times now, and I did not think about that. So that was a very good call and something we're going to do next year.
Yeah, now some of our volunteers, look, someone just suggested, Derek said we should get some shopping carts for people to rent. Now, I see Save-A-Lot shopping carts all over town. So when y'all see those, you just start picking them up and throwing them in the bed of your truck. We'll WD-40 them down really good, and then you all can use the shopping carts.
I think what we do is Elizabeth should start a service where she has like trailers behind her.
Ooh, like a train.
Yeah. Elizabeth, you can't tell me that your chair doesn't power enough. We'll give you charging.
Yep.
You can like sell it out, like have like a caboose.
I was gonna say I don't know any good way to market running a train with us.
I'm just gonna say I remember Brandon thinking he was so cute on his motorized cart, pulling stuff out to the storage locker, then trying to pull the stuff back in, and having to get off and not only pull the empty carts, but his buggy because they don't.
No. It made it all the way back there. I saved time, but it didn't go back up the hill because I'm fat. So thanks, Wes, for fat shaming me. I appreciate it.
Barbara said, did you share my ideas with Brandon, the trading spot and the paint idea? We talked a little bit. I barely talked to Brandon all week. I've been sick. But the paint thing I'm working on. I'm working on it. Haven't had any like good ideas yet, but I'm gonna do it. For sure.
I want to remind everybody, like there's 2 periods of time that are the hardest for us. The week going in and the week going out. And
yes.
So after I pass a kidney stone the size of a watermelon, I was up for probably about 3 days solid, maybe like a couple hours sleep. Adrian West probably the same. A lot of people were in that boat.
Nope, I came on Monday when I went to sleep.
Well, then you can.
I woke up. I had to check the calendar when I woke up.
I keep panicking, and I don't know what it. I'll tell y'all. This is intimate stuff now. Christy let me use her hair dryer on Sunday, and it's got a diffuser on the end of it. I don't know if y'all know what that looks like. It looks like it's got teeth on it, and like I was trying to use that, and I suck because I'm not great at doing things. Obviously, with my hair, I just kind of let it go. But after Scarefest was over, I had nightmares. When I could get to sleep, I had nightmares about trying to get my hair blow dried with that diffuser thing and walking around the con not being able to find anything.
Dude, I was so tired. I'm lucky I didn't try to make toast in my bathtub.
Somebody was selling little toaster bath bombs.
Oh my God, the first 3 days, like I even came home, like I forgot to book myself a hotel room. But I could stay at the Airbnb across the street. But like I decided just to come home because I this year I was more tired than I've been in any other Scarefest. But I also spent more time on the floor this year than I have any other year. And vendors, I didn't get around to everybody. I met the majority of you though, I think.
I tried. I still didn't hit everybody, but I did try to talk to everyone.
I went around and tried to meet with everybody, and then I got I did get a little bit of time on Sunday where I got the fanboy down the Day of the Dead Owl and Adrian Barbeau on Saturday night.
Yep.
So that was good. But yeah, by the time it was said and done, I mean, it was this year just managing that many people and going through stuff. Time Sunday night closed out, I was done.
Yeah, Sunday was rough. Real quick before it gets too lost in the comments, someone asked if there is a celebrity guest request post. There is. It's pinned at the top of the page. It's the first one pinned up there, and I'm going to tell everybody in here, help me out. Wes will not stop approving individual posts about people that they want next year. I'm deleting them. I'm declining the posts. I'm not even letting them through. But him up there is hitting like accept all, whatever. So y'all see a bunch of spam in the group. It's Wes's fault. But if you all see people posting like I want this celeb and it's a standalone post, please comment and tell them I'm not going to read it. If they want to request someone, post it in the one post that I can read them all together because I'm not going to hunt them down. There's already 1,200 comments on that post, and I'm not searching out new ones. So if you all see people making requests, be like, hey, there's a post pinned at the top of the page. You should probably go put that there. Adrian's not going to look at it.
Yeah, please.
Brandon's I'm sure not going to look at it.
Yeah, please, for the love of God. we look at them nonstop. People text me and like, I definitely always listen to folks. Like that's
Yeah.
never going to be the case.
But we're not going to retain it because it's coming
but-
from a million places. We have
but
to be able to like look and say, okay, 850 people asked us to bring this person. You know, like we got to be able to look at it all together. And last year we only had 309 comments on that post, so it's going to take me an entire day to sit down and get through that. But we're grateful and we're going to go through it, but it's got to stay in one place. So
yeah, we started thinking like, I mean, we started looking at booking like a month or so ago and what directions that we want to go in. And I've been looking at it more so, you know, here this week, just in my downtime. And oh shit. So I've been looking at it a lot in this last week too. And I think we've got some interesting ideas for this year that I'm excited about. But yeah, definitely like what she was saying, like don't just randomly post them out there. Like please put them in one place.
you can post them and that's totally cool, but you need to make sure you're putting the comment on the main post thread because I cannot keep up with it. Diana, the love of my life, just said, would you like me to make you a spreadsheet? Girl, you know the answer to that is yes. I love your spreadsheets. And I'm gonna tell you all, I had this crazy spur of the moment idea and it was way too close to the con to pull it off, but that was my fault. I didn't have a good way to put it out there. Next year, we're going to be doing Scarefest bingo. Diana already made the bingo cards. We will be doing those. I think we'll have to pass them out at Scarefest radio booth with Wes. I'm going to give him something else to do, but
I'm not even there. It won't affect me at all.
I mean, Anita, I love you so much. But yeah, we're doing Scarefest bingo. She made these awesome cards. I said, this is what I want. Make it happen. And within like 2 hours, she had the most beautiful cards made up, but it was too close to the show to get that communicated. And we're already doing the trading cards and the bracelets. And a lot of people were doing like little trinkets, keychains, things like that. So we're going to look at a centralized place to have all of that stuff. And if we do it at Scarefest radio booth, we're going to have to give them another space because they were
no, we were only crowded, for the record, we were only crowded because every volunteer you had dumped their stuff at our booth.
I put 3 bags behind your booth and they stayed there all weekend.
I had to take care
Now,
of my peeps. I was a water station.
I need to get my last commercial out of the way, and Bonehead Weekly went to all the trouble to send me an actual movie review. And when I come back, I'm going to tell you my favorite story of the weekend. All right. Spirit Mechanics. Spirit Mechanics has a brick and mortar now. The Missing Element Shop, one-stop shop for Spirit Mechanics, Stevens, Healing Vibrations. They offer books, divination, altar supplies, tarot and oracle decks, handmade glassware, and spirit boards. Vibrational sound healing through the use of singing bowls and tuning forks, courtesy of Stephen Tyree. They have new classes. They do classes on metaphysical and paranormal investigations, special event seminars. They do it all. Check them out, 1018 East New Circle Road, spiritmechanics.com for the internet. Missing Element Shop for the brick and mortar. And now Bonehead.
Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis, Bonehead Weekly. Something's rare crazy going on with my hair. It was wonderful to meet some of you this past weekend at Scarefest. I'm joking. It was wonderful to meet most of you. Most of you. It's wonderful to meet. Some of you a little weird. That's okay. It's good. It's a horror convention, and I got my hair doing this little number right here. So this week, we're going to talk about something that's taken me days. And by the way, Barbara, this is for you. But it's the new Mike Flanagan project on Netflix, and we're talking about the Fall of the House of Usher. If you like Flanagan, which means that you've liked The Haunting of Bly Manor, The Midnight Club, or Midnight Mass, if you like those movies or those shows, then this is right up your alley. I like most of them. In fact, I love The Haunting and loved Midnight Mass, except for the last 30 minutes. This is probably the third best one. Once again, it's a bunch of the same people that are in all the other ones. Kate Siegel, his wife, Ruth Codd, Carla Gugino, who is one of my personal crushes, Samantha Sloan, and this time Bruce Greenwood plays Roderick Usher. What's cool about it is that Flanagan takes people's works like The Haunting, which is based on Shirley Jackson's The Haunting, and then twists it. And basically, Midnight Mass is his version of Stephen King's Salem's Lot. This is his version of Poe meets Succession if you're on HBO. That's what this is. It's Poe meets Succession. So all of the 8 episodes are named after a Poe story or poem, and it follows the House of Usher. Roderick Usher, his sister, and the children. And nothing really good comes of any of it, as you might imagine, because it's a horror show. And there's some fantastic performances in it. I love Mark Hamill as the evil lawyer. Is there problems with it? Yeah. It's kind of the grand guignol, and I love the garish colors and the blood. And there's a lot of blood in this one. If you were like, the Midnight Clubs. Well, there's a lot of blood in this one. There are kind of ghosts. It's a pretty tried and true tale. If I tell you a lot, you'll kind of ruin the ending for you. The last 30 minutes of it's going to ruin it for you. So I don't want to do that. But I do want you to know, and then everybody in it delivers a stellar performance, and it's a fantastic show, and you should watch it. If you guys know, Frank Langella was the original Roderick Usher. Anybody remember this in the news a year and a half ago, and he got caught being a little handsy during a love scene, and they fired him and recast him with Bruce Greenwood? Bruce Greenwood is a fantastic actor. Problem is I know a little bit about movies, so I knew that story, and the whole time I'm watching it, I keep thinking, oh my God, he's good. Frank Langella would have been amazing. Now, I'm not defending Frank Langella. That's not it at all. But if you ever know who's going to be in a role and you think that would have been even better and it drives you crazy, that's what was going on with me. If you don't know who Frank Langella is, look him up. He was Skeletor. He was Dracula. He's a bunch of other people. He's a fantastic character actor in his 80s. Should you watch The Fall of the House of Usher? Of course, each one of them are going to have different demises of a main character as you go through it. If you're a huge Poe fan, this is right up your alley. Nothing's going to be better than this. Is it the best thing ever? No. But it's probably in the top 3, like I said. The Haunting, then Midnight Mass, just because of that last 30 minutes. Otherwise, I'd say Midnight Mass, The Haunting, and then Fall of the House of Usher, and then the other 2. So this has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. I'm so excited that I made so many new friends, and I want to see you all again next year, or even before that in another convention. Stop by and say hi. Add me on Facebook or social media or Twitter. I'm Evil Joe.
I'll let you do that. Okay, now, I'm going to share my favorite story of the weekend. The one that I find that gets the most consistent laughs. As you may or may not know in the chat room and out there in internet land, I was chosen to give the Scarefest harassment speech. Meaning how our volunteers need to behave in public. And it was about sexual harassment, any harassment. And I was chosen to do this because I'm like the oldest guy there. So there. Now, let's jump ahead to Scarefest. If you saw, I did something very special with my black carpet event this year. I had all of everyone was in cosplay or Halloween themed dress. Now, that being said, I had a very, very lovely young 21-year-old woman, not underage, it was legal. Okay, Bailey Humphreys went dressed as an absolute knockout. I loved her dress. She did the black carpet, but 15 minutes before, or 20 minutes before showtime, before the con started, she walks up to me carrying a pair of shoes. And she goes, and she walks up to me, and I'm absolutely aghast at what she's wearing. She absolutely looked wonderful. Beautiful, beautiful lady. And she goes, and okay, let me background this. She put her corset on first, and that makes it impossible to bend over to put on your shoes. So wearing this dress slid up to her ears, she asked me, would I help her with her shoes? And I said, fuck no. That was pretty much.
Wait.
We got her shoes put on it. We got her shoes put on.
Staff meeting, though, when I asked him, like when we asked him to do this talk, the first thing, I was in the back of the room, and like the first thing he did was like go out in front of everybody and said, Brandon asked me to touch on this. And I was like, I did not. That would be inappropriate.
I asked you to not touch it.
Yeah.
So anyway.
He could have
No,
said that any better than what he did with that intro. That was the best intro to a sexual thing. I'm sorry. I'm kind of laughing about it now. Just thinking.
So anyway, I just want to say, if you're out there listening, Bailey, actually, in truth, there was nothing I wanted to do more in my life than help you with your shoes. But appearances must be kept up. Oh yeah, no, I'm not going to tell that
we're
one.
not gonna tell that one.
Okay. So, now, we've talked celeb request. You've got a thing. I'm going to go and put mine out now. I want, the female cast from Terrifier 1. You blew Terrifier 2 out of the water this year because I think Catherine Corcoran, I think I owe it to her because apparently I've sexually harassed her when she was
Oh my
on
God.
there.
You know what? That's a great idea because Bob Cottalone was such a nice guy to work with. I think that we should reach out to him and try to work with him again this year on that.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
a good idea. That's a good idea, Wood.
There were 3 of them, and I just want to put that out there that
I like that idea. I'll tell you what, one thing that I'm thinking about this year, and it hasn't been on any of the boards, I don't think, but there's a few things that I'm interested in doing this year. I just want to pitch. My Bloody Valentine, we haven't done that. I'm dying to do a Bloody Valentine reunion of some sort. Phantasm, we haven't done that in a few years. I really kind of want to do those 2 things. Now we've got much bigger things in the works, but
Well, and I'll say
heart's in
this
80s horror.
as my blanket disclaimer for the year. Okay, I want everybody to listen because I'm going to be mean about this. Me, patience of a saint. I'm going to be mean about it. If Brandon Griffin, that dude right over there, if he teases somebody like, oh, I'm going to try to bring this person, and I get one single message asking me about it, I will not respond. Because I got over 100 messages, literally over 100 messages this year about Dana Kimmel. I have no control over that. I did the best I could do, and I'm not going to answer them.
Okay.
So if Brandon says something about we're going to try to bring this person, and you all start messaging me, I'm going to block you. I might not block you.
Let's preface this right now for everyone else.
I said what I said.
No, and I'm trying to lay some groundwork here because everybody needs to be on the same page going into it. So, guys, every year from now until I die or Scarefest is no more, I am going to ask for Dana Kimmel every single year. It's an automatic. It's an open invitation for as long as I own the show or as long as I breathe. So every year I am going to hold out for Dana Kimmel until the last possible moment.
Yep.
And one day it will happen.
Yep, it will. All right, it's after 10. I got to go. I'm freezing to death in here.
And I will be Brandon will be a happy boy.
So that's where we are. And we are planning on next week starting to release details for Scarefest 2024. We could do it now, but the contracts aren't signed, and we could dick it all up, and then so we're just not gonna. But we will try to get you some official word on how things are shaping up next week, which kind of fucks my plans up because I was going to take next week off. But
I mean, we can put a graphic out. You can take the day off and go run a 12.
No. I will not.
Whatever it is, the shit you do nowadays, like I don't know, go out, eat the salad, and then run.
I'm gonna bring me a cigar up here next week.
Oh, maybe he'll get some of those spandex.
I actually have bicycle shorts with the little padded
that's
butt
what I'm
and everything.
talking about. I'm putting my request in right now for next year's cosplay idea, and Jake's already gonna be making a comment about it. I bet.
I'm gonna keep my lifestyle up with my spam sandwiches, and Dana Kim will be in play for the next 3 years. Until
when your daughter turns 18, I'll be flirting with her. So there, and you'll be dead. You'll be dead.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.